All right. So we're going to start on the stool and we're going to find our sit bones. Hopefully you have that hard surface. And I want you to take a look at the model here, right? The sit bones, and then there's this flat part right in front of the sit bones. So I want you to try and roll forward so that you can feel, it's like your pelvic feet, right? So it's a flatter surface. Mm-hmm. And when you roll your pelvis forward like this to find that flat surface, I'm gonna tilt my screen. Right? You'll notice that you're sitting more on the flesh of your thighs rather than on the flesh of your bum. So just experiment with that. And when you feel the flesh of your thighs underneath you, notice if your ribs want to pop up when you sort of find the weight on your thighs, and try to keep the ribs down. Try not to sort of flare the ribs up. There. And then go back and forth a few times, roll your pelvis back and forth, and try to keep your torso directly stacked over your pelvis. See how my upper body doesn't move as much? Gloria, do you noticing how this is happening when you do it? So try to keep the ribcage stacked, just sort of still, and tilt the pelvis back and forth. And see how your lower back feels. And can you stay aware of those flat parts right in front of the sitting bones? Nice. And then maybe shift side to side, mapping out those flat parts in front of the sitting bone. So feel how one side can be heavier than the other, and then shift over to the other side. And then see if you can find the weight in both sides, right? Evenly distributed. Beautiful. Okay. So find your therapy balls, take one out, and we'll just start with a little massage for the chest. Is Terry joining us today, Gloria?
No, we have electricians in the house today, so if there's a lot of noise, I will mute and Terry's dealing with them.
Okay. Nice. So go under one collarbone on one side, decide how much pressure you want there. When we're stressed, or if just we have a tendency to breathe into the upper chest, these muscles get quite tight and they end up sort of pulling our chest close, and then the shoulders sort of move forward. So we want to soften them so we're able to bring the shoulders back and release the shoulder blade further down our rib cage instead of holding it sort of up here. Go on one side and then switch over to the other side. And notice if there's a spot that feels tender than other parts of the chest. And if you found that spot, you can pin it down with the ball, if you have bare skin that works best, and sort of twist the ball around so you're pinching the skin with the ball. And keeping that pinch, you can move the skin around and maybe loosen that part a little bit. And if you want, you can even move your head gently side to side. Check in with your neutral pelvis. Do you still feel like you're sitting a little bit more towards the flesh of your thighs, not so much closer to your tail? And maybe go to the other side and find that spot on your chest that might need a little bit of a pinching and twisting as well. Feels good, right? Okay. Great. So we'll take the longer band or your tube and we'll just wrap it along the bottom ridge of our rib cage. And you can tie it once and tighten it enough to feel the resistance from the band there. And let's take a few slow, mindful breaths here. Staying aware of the bottom of your pelvis, right flat on your stool, your ribcage stacked right over the pelvis. And as you take those easy, long breaths, try to sense the three-dimensional expansion of your ribcage all around the circumference of your ribcage, spreading, expanding into your band. And then on the exhale, softening, letting go, and coming back to its original shape. You can even close your eyes and you'll be able to feel it a bit more readily. As you inhale, you expand. You feel the tension from the band increase because your ribcage is expanding into it. And as you exhale, you soften, you come back to the original shape. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Maybe notice the parts of your ribcage that don't really want to expand so much and the parts that are there right away. You feel that tension against the band and some parts that you are not quite aware of, if they're moving or not. Very nice. And we'll take the band off. So one of the ends will go on the floor and we're going to pin it down with our foot. Because I want us to start with this movement. See how it can jump from underneath your foot. So try to pin it down with your foot. And depending on how taut you want your strap to be, you can either wrap it on your, sort of tie it on your hand or sort of hold it lower. So I want you to keep this arrangement, this alignment that we found. Trying not to move anything, just pull on the strap and notice the sensations you're experiencing through the bottom of your arm, maybe through the side of your body. See if you can keep your elbow, straighten your elbow, right? Reach it forward and then pull, but only to where you can sort of resist into the band, where you don't have to collapse into this resistance. Yeah, straight arm. And then explore different angles. So go out to the side, so release, feel how the band lets go, but there's still some tension left there. And then you pull up. Be really curious about the sensations you're experiencing through the side body. Maybe you'll even feel how the shoulder blade has to tuck into the back pocket on its own, right? You don't even have to think about it, it just happens. You just have to feel it. So Gloria, if you have to sort of tense up your face, maybe it's a little bit too much, right? So don't go quite as high.
Okay.
If you feel like there's some tension that has to kind of come up into the neck and face, just don't go quite as high. Nice, keep breathing. And notice which angle is more challenging maybe. Out to the side, maybe slightly behind you. Rotate your arm in and try pulling back on the strap. Breathing here. Finding those pelvic feet underneath you still. Oh, a lot of work, right? Not much tension, but a lot of work. Make sure your chin is not poking up so your head is still right on top of the shoulders. Oh, nice. Let's switch over to the other side. So pin it down with your foot. Find your neutral pelvis. Hold onto the band. Pull a couple times and decide if the tension is just right for you, right? So we don't want to be lifting the shoulder up to the ear. Elbow is straight, and we're just sensing that tension that the band is giving us. And we keep breathing. Try to find the three-dimensional expansion through the ribcage still. We're not tensing up into the neck, into the jaw. So now try going out to the side. Again, elbow is straight, nothing changes in the body, except for the arm goes up and down. And feel, the side body come online. elbow is straight. Louise, I'm noticing there's a little bit of a lean going on. Yeah, so maybe don't pull quite as high if you feel that your body has to compensate. Notice how this side is doing. Is this easy on this side or is it more challenging? So try behind you and then rotate the arm in, pull the strap. Donna, are you noticing how the body wants to kind of lean forward a little bit? Yeah, try to stay upright. Ooh, and then let go. So hold the strap right in front of you and we'll just pull it like this. See if you can keep your elbows close to the sides of your body and just pull the strap on the strap. Elbows stay tucked into the side body and then see how close you can hold onto the strap and still pull. So start like with your, Gloria, start with your like hands like this, yeah? Elbows tucked into the side body and then pull. And notice where you feel the sensation across your mid-back. Can you feel it? Do your shoulders want to kind of, does your ribcage want to fall back? Can you still find those flat parts of your pelvis right underneath you? Pull. See, the elbows stay tucked into the side body. Very nice. Now let's bring the arms up. Hold onto your band. Pull on the band. But again, make sure you stay on, in your neutral pelvis. You're not tipping back. You're not tipping too much forward. Pull on the band. Bring your arms up to the point where you feel that your ribs are still stacked over your pelvis, that you're not doing it by flaring the ribs, right? Think of putting the lid on, our Kinderarm lid on. Pull on the band. Keep pulling on the band, then gently rotate over to your left. Keep pulling on the band, and then bring the arms down. Keep pulling on the band. Then bring the arms up. Back to center. Make sure you're distributing your weight evenly in your pelvis. Over to your right. Bring the arms down. Inhale your arms up. Come back to center. And then release and bring the arms down. Take a moment here. We'll do it one more time. So find your neutral pelvis again. You're evenly heavy on both sides. See, when the knees are higher than your pelvis, it's quite hard to find that neutral shape. But maybe for next time we can find stools that are high enough that allow you to feel the flesh of your thighs on the stool. Okay? So let's pull on the strap again. Maybe this time you can hold on a bit closer and find more resistance from the bend. Pull, bring your arms up. So before we go up and over, let's see if we can move the shoulder blades forward and then back. And then forward, make your arms longer by moving your shoulder blades away from the spine and then pull back. The tops of the shoulders stay still. Reach forward and then pull back. Pull on the strap, bring your arms up and over. Rotate over to your left, bring the arms down, and then up. Come back to center, over your head, but only to where you can keep your pelvis right underneath the rib cage. Over to your right, and bring the arms down, and up. Keep pulling on the strap, stretching it. Come back to center, and then down. Whew. Let it go. Let's take out one arm. And then let's take out the other arm. So we've been gripping onto the band for a bit. Now let's stretch our fingers. So we usually do the whole palm at the same time. Let's try one finger at a time. So we're gonna play a little tango dance here, with the fingers. So I'm gently pressing into the finger, but I resist the finger back. So just like in a tango dance, you really have to feel your partner and only offer as much resistance as you feel from your partner, right? Mm-hmm. Do the ring finger. So you're gently pulling it back and you're resisting into the finger that's stretching you. Yeah? And then your middle finger. Your pointer. And notice which fingers, feel good when you stretch them and which fingers resist, or maybe there's some discomfort. And then your thumb. Again, resist back. It's like this hand is now your resistance band, right? It provides you with some tension, but you resist back into it. Yeah, relax the neck and the jaw. Notice if maybe some tension starts building up there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. So now we're gonna take one of your elastics. If you have a few, you can try, a couple of them. So I want you to gather your fingers into like a little pinch. And while Laura is getting her band, you just see if the one that you choose, can you spread your fingers wide inside the elastic? If it's too easy, choose the one that has a bit more resistance, right? They become all different. So the point is to really spread your fingers into the elastic and try to use every finger equally. And maybe you'll notice that, like my pinky doesn't really want to participate in this move. Spread out. It's fun, right? So try not to notice, like some fingers really want to overtake and like extend, and some, yeah. Press through the tips of your fingers. Mm-hmm. Nice. And let's switch over to the other side. And you might notice some interesting things happening in your upper body, maybe in your lower body. Maybe your elbow wants to lift up, maybe your head wants to sort of fall over to the side. So try to maintain that neutral shape through your torso, through your neck. We'll try the other hand. So really press out. So all like around the fingertips, Gloria, not so much towards the knuckles, but the fingertips, and that's much harder, right? So the whole hand has to participate. So this can be done in the kitchen every time you find yourself there, right? So good for your grip strength. Mm-hmm.
That's every 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's how, human tissue adapts. It just needs tiny little increments, but spread out over time, We don't want like bursts of activity once in a blue moon, right? That's how injuries happen. But if we spread it out, tiny little increments, we can really make a big change in our tissues. Yeah. Very nice. Beautiful. So let's put it down, and now we'll stretch the other hand. We'll start with the fingers. So gently pull the finger back and resist back through that finger. And now see if this hand feels different. So pull back and resist. And then the other, your middle finger, pull back and resist. And your pointer. And your thumb. Come back to your first hand and pull, spread the fingers wide, pull all of them back. Now reach through the ball of your hand. Reach your thumb out to the side, straighten your elbow. Mm-hmm. Try to create a C shape through the back of your hand, and notice if the shoulder wants to creep up to the ear. Right? So reach the thumb out, C shape through the back of your hand, and now let's do a nice juicy circle with the thumb. Down, out to the side, up, towards the pinky side, towards the floor, out to the side. Switch the direction, go the opposite way. Nice. And then shake it out. And we'll do the other hand. So spread the fingers wide. Can you spread out the fingers? Yeah, notice if you can spread out the fingers. Beautiful. So gently pulling back, finding the C shape to the back of your hand, reach the thumb out to the side. Straighten your elbow. And now big, big circle with your thumb. In towards the pinky, the slower you go, the deeper you'll be able to get into the thumb joint, yeah. And then switch the direction, go the opposite way. Reach, reach, reach. Beautiful. Shake it out. Now let's hold on to the resistance band again. Pull on it and reach it forward. I'll turn sideways so you can see my shoulder blades. So find your pelvic feet underneath you. Nice and steady there. The weight is evenly distributed through the bottom of your pelvis. Yeah. So pull on the strap so we're engaging the arms and the sides of the body. Think of tucking the shoulder blades into the back pocket. Now reach your arms forward. Shrug the shoulders up to your ears and pull your arms back so the shoulder blades are hugging the spine now. And then pull the shoulder blades down your ribcage. And reach forward so hard. Shrug the shoulders up. Pull them back to your spine. Down. Keep pulling on the strap. Reach forward. Up. Pull back. And then down one last time. Reach forward. Shrug up. Pull, 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 pull back. Straight. Your elbows are staying straight. Down. And then release. Let go. Let's shake out the arms. One side. And then the other side. We're going to revisit our strapped breath. Let's see if there is some more movement available through the bottom of your ribcage now. So tie your band over your bottom ribs. Hands on your hips. Maybe close your eyes and just take a moment to breathe into the strap. And see how your shoulders feel. Maybe you can sense your shoulder blades a little bit more. As you inhale and expand into the band, maybe you can feel your shoulder blades spreading away from the spine. And then coming back to their original place. Are you aware of the three-dimensional expansion through the ribcage? Nice. And open your eyes and let's take the belt off. And we'll come up to standing. But before we do, let's just practice our hinge, right? So getting up from a stool is a great opportunity to practice the hinge and using our legs to get up. So those of you who are on a lowered stool, that might be a little bit challenging. But maybe, Gloria, you can practice just hinging, right? Without standing up, and then we'll stand up in the way that's doable for you, okay? So for everybody else, if the stool is sort of high enough, again, round through your pelvis, right? Feel those sit bones and the flat part right in front. Now see if you can hinge forward, closing the angle between your thighs and your chest without flaring your ribs, yeah? Now think of pulling your feet back so you notice how the back line of your legs comes online and then pushing through the feet. see if you can come up. And then we'll sit back by bending the knees, sending the hips back, hinging at the hips. Find your stool and then come back down. Beautiful, nice and slow. Hinge forward. Get your legs on line. Maybe think of corkscrewing your heels towards midline, pushing through the feet, and come up. Find your therapy ball. And we'll just start by rolling out the bottom of the foot. So see how the foot feels this morning. Start gently and then slowly applying a bit more pressure. Almost like kneading a piece of dough, right? Or a piece of cold clay. We're trying to warm it up with movement. Noticing the parts that feel stiff, maybe a bit more sensitive. Notice if you can find some movement through the midfoot, through your toes. Place the heel on the floor and your toes on the ball. Then squeeze the ball with your toes. Move over to the pinky side of the foot and see if you can squeeze the ball with those toes as well. And then roll out the foot again. Now place your heel on the floor again. And now see if you can go side to side. Keeping the heel on the floor, can you find some tilt through your ankle? Reaching the inner part of your foot towards the floor, then the outer part of the foot towards the floor. And then roll out again. If there's a part of your foot, of the bottom of your foot that feels stiffer than other parts, or there's some gripping or some different sensation, try pinning it down with the weight of your body and then twisting over that spot, just like we did on the skin of our chest. And you know, if you look at me higher up, when I'm doing this, I'm also using this opportunity to find some rotation at the hip. So my body from the waist up doesn't really move. It's just the leg from the root down. And then roll out the foot again. And switch over to the other side. So this is something that's good to do every morning and maybe every night before going to bed. And the more you play with this, the more ways you'll discover to, you know, enjoy this. Improve circulation in your feet, improve mobility in your toes, and this will affect everything up the chain, right? That's our feet is where we connect to the ground. Our ankles, our knees, our hips, and everything else does not float in space, right? We're connected to the ground through the feet. So feet is the low-hanging fruit that's often overlooked, and that's the most important sort of part of the body that creates a ripple effect all the way up above the feet. Really important to keep your feet mobile and responsive. So gently kneading the bottom of the foot with the ball. Notice how the side is doing. Then put the heel down. Grip the ball with your toes and see if you can really squeeze it with the toes. And it's okay if, you know, nothing much is happening there, the more you try it, the more awake the toes will become. It takes time. But the more often you do this, the faster it will happen. Squeezing with the toes. Notice which toes are responsive and which toes not so much. Keep squeezing. And roll it out again. And now let's find that side to side tilt for the ankle. So the heel will be on the floor. And you'll try to reach the outer edge of the foot towards the floor without moving the rest of the body. And then the inner edge towards the floor. And then the outer edge and the inner edge. A couple more times, side to side. Notice how this ankle is doing, how this foot is doing. And then roll it out. Beautiful. Okay. So now if you have your loop there, so we'll use the loop. If you don't have a loop, maybe you can tie your band so that it's about this sort of hip width apart. If this is too much work for now, we can do it without. So you can either tie up your long band like this, or if you have a loop, you can use the loop. Yeah, Alba, you have the loop, right? Excellent. So the loop will go over our ankles like this. Don't fall, okay? Take good care there. So once your loop is over your ankles, I want you to keep your feet wide enough that you feel the resistance from the loop. And then give into the resistance from the loop. See how my inner ankles kind of fall in? So although your loop, maybe it can go a little bit lower. So right over the bone, yeah, the ankle bone. And then gently press out into the loop. And then sort of give into the pressure. I'm sort of leaning down so I can see the screen and you, but you don't have to worry. You can stand up and just sort of watch me on the screen. So keep doing that, and I will draw a little line here for you to see. So this is a really tricky sort of sensation to find. Once you find it, it makes all the difference though. So look at this line, right? And when my ankle sort of gives into the pressure from the band, I'm not gonna have my band here so you can see. See how this kind of moves this way? And then when I push into the band, it's a little bit more lined up. See how the line is moving? So through pressing out into your band here, I want you to find that alignment through your foot, into the ankle, into your shin. Yeah? Notice also if your big toe wants to let go, right? When you press into your band, does your big toe want to let go of the floor? Can you stay aware of your big toe connecting into the floor when you push out? Beautiful. Nice. So now take the loop off and just put it off to the side. And standing on your 2 feet, can you find that same sensation? So pretend the loop is still over your ankles and feel how the ankles kind of drop towards midline, and then press into that imaginary loop and find that more vertical arrangement from the foot into the ankle, into your leg bone. So try it a couple times, collapsing in and then pushing out into the loop. Pretty spectacular when you find this alignment. You know, your legs all of a sudden feel right underneath the pelvis, and you receive way more support from your legs that goes right up into your pelvis, into the rest of the body. Everything up the chain receives this additional support. Okay, so now shift your weight into your right foot. Pretend the loop is still there and you're pressing out into the loop, right? Maybe practice with this left side a few times. And then see if you can make your other side lighter. So if you're doing your right side, your left leg becomes a little bit lighter, and maybe you can even float it off the floor. And then put your left foot down, start pressing out through the left ankle on your mirror reflection. Pressing out through the left ankle, start making your right foot lighter, and then eventually maybe you can float your right foot off the floor. And then put it down. Let's do it one more time on this side. So shifting the weight into your right side, pressing out through the ankle. Notice how the support travels all the way up into your lateral hip, right? The one that we were working on last week. And now see if you can make your left foot lighter and then float it off the floor. And then one more time on this side. Right foot is grounding down, pressing out through that ankle. Big toes on the ground and making your left foot lighter. Beautiful. And then put it down. Let's shake out our left, standing on the right. And then stand on your left, shake out your right. Beautiful. Okay. So we'll do a few more things standing up for our shoulders. But as we're doing them, I want you to stay aware of that alignment through your ankles. So keep coming back to the sensation of sort of pressing out through your ankles into your loop, right? Try to avoid shifting your hips forward. That happens often, right? Remember to find that vertical plumb line, okay? So we'll find our wall and we'll place our right forearm on the wall here. And the forearm will be at an angle, like 45 degrees, as though this is the face of a clock and your hand is pointing towards, I would say 1:30 p.m., right? So I want your forearm to be flat on the floor, on the wall. Your ribs are stacked over your pelvis. You're pressing out through your ankles, like there's still a loop there. Now pretend the wall is butter and you want to sink your elbow through that wall. Like you're reaching through the wall into the next room. Check in with your head. Notice if the head wants to fall forward. Pretend there's an object right on top of your head. So you're not bringing the chin up, right? You're growing through the crown of your head and you're reaching that elbow, that forearm into the next room. And try to find some spaciousness underneath the collarbone. So your feet are hip width apart and you keep pressing out into that imaginary loop. So this is already plenty, yeah? I hope you can find the sensation. Reaching the elbow into the next room through the wall. Spread your fingers wide. Maybe move your head gently side to side. And then take a moment there, let it go, shake it out gently. Let's do it again. We're going to place it back on the wall. This time I want you to find the sensation of pulling the shoulder blade into the back pocket. And you can find that by thinking of pulling the elbow down the wall, right? Like you want to bring the wall down with your forearm. Ribs are staying stacked right over the pelvis. You can even try moving your forearm back a little bit so it's more vertical rather than pointing to 1:30 p.m. And then see what sensations you find there. And the shoulder blade stays down. Move your head gently side to side. Still pressing out into those ankles. Lovely. And then slowly let go. Shake it out. One last time. Placing your forearm on the wall. So decide if you want 45 degrees or if you want it to be a little bit more vertical. Pressing the forearm into the wall like you're trying to reach through the wall into the next room. Spread your fingers wide. Press through your ankles out into that imaginary loop. Now see if you can move your sternum, your chest bone, away from your armpit, gently rotating away from the wall. Keep reaching the elbow into the next room. Breathe here. And then come back to neutral, and then slowly let go. And then shake it out. Was it okay? Did you all find a stretch? Yeah? Okay. So let's do the other side. Placing your left hand forearm on the wall. 45 degrees. I have to turn my back to you, but hopefully you can still hear me. So pressing into the imaginary loop through the ankles. Shift your hips back so your weight is sitting over your heels rather than over your midfoot or your toes. Press into the object that's on top of your head without bringing your chin up. Start reaching your forearm through the wall into the next room. Your elbow and your forearm are trying to reach into the next room. Maybe move your head gently side to side. The elbow is at shoulder height. Your hips are back, right over your heels, and you're pressing out into that loop over your ankles. Imaginary loop. And slowly let go. Shake it out. Take a note of whether this side was more challenging. Were you able to find some spaciousness underneath the collarbone there? Let's do it one more time. Feet are hip width apart. Now see if you can bring your forearm closer to 12 o'clock while still reaching the forearm through the wall into the next room. Finding spaciousness underneath the collarbone, pressing out into your ankles. Maybe moving your head gently side to side. Checking in with your ankles. Are you pressing out through your ankles? Are your ribs stacked on top of your pelvis? Beautiful, and letting go. Gently move it around. And one last time. So this time we'll move the chest bone, the sternum, away from your armpit. So place your forearm on the wall. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Feet are hip width apart. Start reaching through the forearm into the next room, right through the wall. Breathing here. And then gently rotating the sternum away from the armpit, any amount. Nice and slow, breathing there. Again, checking in with your weight. Is it sitting over your heels? Are your legs vertical? Is your head right on top of your shoulders? Beautiful. And then slowly letting go. And shake it out. Yeah. I know. So we'll find the loop and we'll place the loop over the wrist like this. And we'll place the hands on the wall, just like we were doing with our feet. We'll find a little bit of tension, not too much, just a little bit so you can feel it. Fingers on the wall. And your arm length away from the wall. Check in with your ribs. Do the ribs want to flare up? So pretend you're doing plank on the wall, right? And right away you'll notice that this little amount of tension really lights up the arms and the side of the body. Think of bringing the wall down with your hands, like you're dragging your hands down the wall. So now see if you can rotate the eye of the elbow up towards the ceiling. It's this part on your elbow, the inside of the elbow. If you look, you can look at me. This part, right? So can you point it towards the sky while still holding your hands on the wall? Now keep those eyes of the elbows pointing up towards the sky. Keep pulling your hands down the wall without moving them. And now see if you can bend your elbows any amount and bring yourself closer to the wall. But stay like a stiff board. We're not breaking through the middle back, through the upper back. We're just bending the elbows and then push away from the wall. Yeah, and then take a break, bring your arms down. That's a lot of work. We'll do it 2 more times. So placing your hands on the wall. At shoulder height, your feet are at hip width apart. Pressing the ankles into the imaginary loop, so we're receiving that support from our legs. Rotate the eye of the elbow up towards the sky. Ribs in and touch your lid. And then we're going to bend the elbows any amount. And then push from the wall and back. Nice. And then let go. One last time. Placing your hands on the wall. Fingers are pointing up. You're an arm length away from the wall and maybe one step further so you can lean into the wall, right? Press into the imaginary loop through the ankles. Rotate the eye of the elbow up towards the sky. And then bending the elbows only. Bending the elbows towards the wall. And then push. Beautiful. And then push off the wall, take the loop off. Shake out the arms. Lovely. So now your right hand on the wall, and we're going to stand slightly further than arm length. Your fingers are pointing up, and you're trying to spread the skin of your hand into the wall, like every little line on your hand wants to feel the surface of the wall. The elbows straight. My feet are together. And then let's try tiny, gentle rotations at the root of the arm. So if I move my screen closer so that you can see. So we're sort of pressing to the wall, and we're trying to move the very root of the arm, and we're gently leaning into that shoulder. So see if you can rotate the eye of the elbow up towards the sky, and then move your head side to side here. Maybe you can even gently do like a semicircle with your chin on your chest. Then you feel the side of your body staying online, being engaged. From the top of the class, when we were pulling the bend up, same sensation here, but you're creating it through pressing your hand into the wall and gently sort of thinking of dragging it down. Now see if you can keep pressing to the wall and rotate your body away from the armpit. Just sort of taking steps away, rotating the entire body away from the wall. And feel that stretch across the chest. But keep the shoulder in there, right? We're not letting the shoulder roll forward. The shoulder blade is tucked into the back pocket. The side body is engaged. And then slowly bring yourself back and shake it out. And other side. So place the hand on the wall. Step slightly further than arm length away from the wall. Your feet are together now, and you're leaning into that hand. Fingers are pointing up. And then start with those gentle rotations. Try to find any amount of rotation at the root of the arm. And see how the eye of my elbow is moving up towards the sky. So external rotation for the shoulder. So you're leaning into that hand. Check if your ribs sort of flaring up. Can you bring your rib cage right on top of the pelvis still? Rotating. And then rotate the eye of the elbow up towards the sky and then see if you can take a few steps away from the wall, rotating your body. Yeah, be really gentle. Keep your arm engaged, your shoulder engaged. You're still sort of dragging your hand down the wall gently. Breathing into the space underneath your collarbone. Beautiful. And then slowly bring yourself back and shake it out. Amazing. All right, and we'll settle down on the floor into our snow angel relaxation pose, right? Find your bolster or your blanket, and we'll roll it up so it's sort of like rolling up your bolster. I'll use my bolster. I have it right here. Okay. So we'll use, if you have a pillow or a blanket or a block, we'll use it for underneath our head. Put it right in the middle of your bolster. And then your upper back will rest against the bolster and your head will rest on the higher part, right? It's not, the bolster is not going up against your sacrum or your mid-back. It's going to prop up the shoulder blades. So you can have your legs stretched out. Hopefully you have enough space around you so you can move your arms up and down. If your lower back feels a bit funny, you're welcome to keep your knees bent, and that will allow you to soften the mid-back towards the floor. But make sure that it's just the shoulder blades that are propped up. And then we'll bring the arms out to the sides. Take a moment here, soften into your chest. Allow the arms to relax and the chest to soften. The backs of your hands are connected to the floor. Soften into your belly. Allow the middle back to release towards the floor. Notice if there's some arching that wants to happen through the mid-back. Allow it to soften towards the floor. Now with the backs of your hands connected to the floor, move your arms, glide your arms along the floor up towards your head and stop as soon as you feel the backs of your hands lifting off or your ribs popping up. The lid on your kinder egg is popping off the bottom, right? Keep the ribs down, keep your arms soft, and then glide the backs of your hands down the floor towards your thighs. This time we will connect the thumbs towards the floor, into the floor. Rotate the arms out so the pinky side of your hand is pointing up towards the ceiling, and your thumbs are pointing towards the floor. And we're going to move the arms up and over again, keeping the thumbs on the floor the whole time and keeping your ribs down. Keep thinking of softening your mid-back towards the floor. See if you can keep your elbows nice and straight. And then slowly bring your arms down towards your thighs. And one more time. Breathing softly, gliding your thumbs along the floor. The pinky side of your hand is pointing up. The entire arm is rotated out. And then down. If you found a line of stretch that feels really juicy, you can just stay there and breathe. Keep reaching the upper arm away from the armpit. So you're lengthening between the armpit and your elbow. We tend to kind of reach the fingertips away from the armpit. Try reaching the upper arm, and you'll probably find a deeper sensation there. And then soften your arms by your sides. Maybe bend your knees and allow them to come together so your lower belly can relax. And just spend a few more moments here. Breathing, noticing your ribcage expanding in all three dimensions. Noticing how much movement is available through the ribcage, in between your shoulder blades, underneath your collarbones. Soften the skin across your forehead. Allow your eyes to sink in deeply into your eye sockets. Soften the jaw, your tongue, your neck, your chest, and your back. Allow the body to breathe.